Hello and welcome to Everyday Channel number 138, your favorite, most deceptively named bi-weekly legacy podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our brand new Patreons, Quinn Harris, Guillaume Graf, and Eternal Casual. If you want to support the running of the show directly, you can support us on patreon.com/everydaychannel. Guys, we just started in the new year, and I had one of the biggest New Year's resolutions, and that is not to cast from a hotel room anytime soon. Yeah, guess what? First episode.
You did it again.
But are you even in the right hotel?
Yeah, we just talked about this, right? I went to the wrong hotel, but they literally built the same hotel across the street. When I walked in, the guy didn't have my name, but he literally had the guest list of the other hotel, and he told me, "Oh yeah, you just walk under the tunnel," and they even had an express tunnel into the other hotel. This is crazy. Anyway, I finally arrived. Thank you, Deutsche Bahn, for keeping me busy all day long and making trains vanish and stuff, and all of a sudden they reappeared. But now we are back. Everybody is back. And I didn't have the longest journey of all of us, right? Kai, you came from way far away.
Dude, I'm still jet-lagged as fuck. And
how do you get jet-lagged traveling west, dude? You're such a noob.
I know, right? For everyone who doesn't know, I went to Japan for 2.5 weeks during the holidays. Spent the first half of January in Tokyo. It was absolutely stunning. There are only upsides. Holy shit! I gotta talk about this in a bit, but there are only upsides. I'm going to Japan, and now I'm back, and I am jet lagged as fuck, and it just doesn't stop. I've been here for 6 days at this point, and I still been waking up at 4 a.m. and do you guys have any secret tips, or are there any secret tips for just getting rid of jet lags? Because it really sucks.
Honestly, when you travel west, it's usually super easy. You just stay up a couple of hours longer, and then you go to bed, and everything is fine. When you travel east, that's what fucks you up, because then you wake up in the morning and you it just doesn't work at all. So I can't really give you any tips.
That's interesting, because when I went to Japan, I got drunk ASAP, and that kind of worked out pretty well for me.
So have you got drunk when you got home here?
Not yet.
That's the problem. There we go. You just got a drink.
Didn't you get drunk yesterday? You partied with some famous artist or something?
Yeah, I was pseudo drunk. I was not drunk, you know. There are certain tiers of being drunk, I feel.
Is it true that Japanese get drunk way more easily?
Oh, dude, instant. It's the game ends on turn 1, kind of, you know. It's really and every time I drink with my German friends, it's dude, we are already in extra turns, and man, they can drink forever. How can German drink so much beer? It is not only good for your health, it's also pretty bad for your wallet too.
It's a dark ritual cast sake.
Yeah, it's man,
target player gets your target drink.
Nice. I would love that. Yeah.
It exists.
Ashton's coupon.
Do you guys know that there are so many all-you-can-drink bars in Tokyo, and now I kind of get it, because
really?
No one really goes for the full menu. They just kind of drink 1 or 2 drinks, really.
The only thing I've heard about is Nico Hordai, all-you-can-cat.
Oh yeah, and that all-you-can-cat. Yeah. They're apparently they're doing a lot of. I'm kind of waiting for the all-you-can-magic.
So, a flat rate? I think that's what they call winning out of legacy, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, they already have. They already have that.
Yeah, true.
But dude, how was Japan? We're gonna go into that in a moment, where we'll also be talking about me playing the Et Cetera and a couple more things.
Right. But if I want to sum it up, it was basically infinite best food and infinite paper magic. And if that doesn't already sound pretty good to you guys, it's also combined with the yen is super cheap right now, so everything was insane. If you earn euros or American dollars or what have you, and you convert it into yen, is everything is basically for free.
Oh, maybe we should pull our money together and buy some real estate in Tokyo. Yeah, I guess we're almost there, right?
About a year ago, we said we would come over at some point together as a gang.
We really should. We really should.
The only thing that I heard that went up is actually flights. I guess you can still get them for under 1,000 or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I think my flight was a little under 1,000 euros, and but once you are under 1,000, I think you're in the okay area.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we talk about your experience in Japan in a moment, but Callum, what have you been up to?
I've been doing kind of less exciting things. I'm kind of with you, Kai, in spirit for the sleepiness. So I was a guest on the Canadian Threshold podcast, the guys from Vancouver.
Hell yeah.
And love that podcast, really fun. And we said we'd schedule it for Tuesday. And because our hours don't really line up, there's I think a 6-hour difference or something, we said we'd do my 6 a.m, so get up early, and their 10 p.m. Clever Callum didn't work out which way the time goes. And
I was going to say, like, there should be an 8-hour difference to you.
Oh, 8, yeah, maybe. So yesterday morning, woke up at 5:30, ready to go, message them saying like, hey guys, where are you? And then like it gets to 15:15. I'm like, yeah, I've messed up something here. So I've woken up at 5:30 the last 2 days in a row. We did it this morning. So waking up at 5:30 2 days in a row is
I see. Because
Yeah.
you were talking about the day, but for you it was the next day, kind of. And for them it was the previous day, and you were only talking. That literally happened to me last time I went to China, and we were doing Legacy Premier League. I remember I arrived at the airport and was like, I think I talked about this. It was close to midnight, and I furiously tried to gain like a little bit of internet so I could message Anurag. And eventually I found some internet lying around, and I messaged him and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be late, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, dude, like, the show is not until in like 24 hours. Like, oh.
Yeah. So you got it the nice way around. Well, I guess I got it the early way around as well, but it was pretty funny. So I got to they said, oh, I hope it's okay. I hope you've got your enthusiasm. I was like, I just played a League of Painter in the morning and then went to work.
That's good.
But that was really cool. I did that, yeah, so technically this morning. Other than that, we had our LLM last Saturday. Great fun as usual. Really cool. Initiative mirror in the finals, as you do.
Oh.
It's just our legacy at the moment.
Tell us about it, not.
No.
Do people still say that? Isn't that like so 2000s?
The guys were super cool, so congrats to Chris and Tom, but they were like super jovial and joking in the final. Chris was on
I like
the
how they
plane.
don't even get last names.
Chris Grimsey and Tom Durans. But yeah, if they're listening, well done. But they were just like, Chris was the first seed, I think, so they were just joking like before, like, oh well, Chris wins, we're just gonna play it out before they'd even drawn their opening hands because the play is so important. And Chris won 2-1. They won their games on the play, as they should.
What did you play?
I played Painterless Painter, basically.
Oh, you tweeted
What
about
does
that.
that
Dragons.
mean?
Well, Dogs and Dragons. I haven't really thought of a name. Black Forest Cake, because it's like black red painter. That was coined by Brendan McBain. So
because all the painter decks are named after like cakes.
yeah, so Strawberry Shortcake is like white and red. So it's but yeah, black red is like Black Forest Cakes. It's like black and stuff. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. We can go into it like a bit later. Maybe but my current obsession is unearthing Phyrexian Dragon engines.
Oh,
Yeah.
that works, right?
That's also
cards.
quite addictive, isn't it?
Dude, you get like a 2/2 double strike and recall, and then you weld it in and out, and you just keep recalling. It's so fucking cool. Oh my god.
And you're playing 4 copies of each, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know what? We're actually gonna link the deck list in the show notes because it's like so crazy. You also have that one card in there that I never know what it actually does. It does like loot or something.
Oh, Scrapwork Mutt. Hell yeah. So this card is brilliant. It's a 2-mana 2/1. When it ETBs, you can discard a card, and if you do, you draw a card. And it has Unearth for 1 red. There we go. That's what it does.
Wait, that's it? That's
Yeah.
legacy playable?
Yeah. Dude, it's good. It's a really good role player. Like, you cast it off your Ancient Tomb, but it's really funny whenever, like, I'll go, like, Ancient Tomb, tap it, and everyone's like, oh no, something bad is going to happen, and I cast a Mutt.
And you loot? Like, you cast a verse
Yeah,
compulsion
but
or something?
then I discard a Phyrexian Dragon Engine, play Lowe's Pedal, and unearth it.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah. But
Okay.
we can go into the list later. But it's pretty cool. There's some cool stuff going on.
Okay. One question about like your Magic Online experience in the morning. Like, do you feel like you have a better performance in this like super early in the morning, or like rather like late in the evening?
This is the first time I've woken up at 5:30 and played Magic Online. Weirdly,
So how was it?
but I think I played better. Like, I was awake and more focused. Like, in the evenings, I've had a whole day of like brain activity, talking to people, and I get back and I kind of want to relax, and I'm a bit distracted, and I'm doing other things, and got some housekeeping stuff to do usually. And yeah, I just very much like have Twitch on the side, and I'm thinking of something else, and I just blah 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 my way through leagues. So I think
that's how I always play.
yeah, same. No, I definitely play very, very fast and loose when I'm like after work in the evening. So yeah, I think
absolutely.
I think it's a good point. I didn't even think of that, Kai, but I think I probably played better.
Because I noticed when I moved to Germany, because like the legacy challenge times, they stay the same, right? But when you change when you have like such a big move from Asia to Europe, then all of a sudden like all those like times are also quite different. And I used to play challenges at like starting at midnight, for example, until like 8 a.m. for example, right? Or like the ones on Saturday, they fired at 8 p.m. until like 2 a.m. ish or 3 a.m. ish. So I was
you top made it most of the time, right? So it went even later.
and I gotta say, like I had a pretty decent win percentage during that time, and now I moved here, and I gotta say, like I haven't played many challenges since I moved here, but I don't know what it is, but I feel like late in the afternoon or like midday, I have like a pretty weak performance, like overall.
Yeah, I totally feel that. You've also been hanging around with us more, so you're probably getting worse.
Oh yeah,
but no. Jokes aside, I think you're totally right. Like, if you don't have, I don't know, something chipper to like kind of keep you awake or whatever. Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna move somewhere I'm gonna move to Japan so I can play challenges at midnight.
Yeah, that's gonna be
that sounds so wrong, dude. It's like it's all about those challenges, man.
Like I like to imagine like when Callum is at the immigration thing and like, hello, why do you want to come to Japan? Oh, I want to play legacy challenges at midnight. I heard it's the best training camp. Like this is weird. Welcome to Japan.
Do you have a job sorted? Yeah, I'm gonna make money off Magic Online. Yeah.
Right.
Are you gonna pay taxes on that? Oh,
I'm here to set my alarm at 11 p.m.
Just death and taxes is dead. There's no taxes here.
Cool. Guys, before we jump into the episode, do we want to go very quickly over a couple of listener questions?
Yeah.
Yes, let's go.
Awesome. So let's start with Alex C. Callum, would you be willing to share advice on organizing, advertising, and running community Magic events? I think we're all doing this, but out of the three of you, you've been doing this for the longest.
Yeah. So it's been, I think I've said it a few times, like 7 years now. There's a few steps. Like the first one is getting a scene together. So the whole idea of starting the LLMs years ago was there just wasn't a tournament, like a monthly tournament that was just weeklies in London, and there was the demand already, so I skipped the step. But if you have a community of people that like say they want these monthly tournaments, then you should find this pretty easy. If you don't, building up a scene is incredibly hard, I think, and it takes like 6+ months of like really fighting to get people interested and getting a group together. But to get the group together first, the main thing is making sure people know that if they arrive, they're going to be able to play some legacy. The worst thing is if you have like 4 or 5 people and then you have like a limit of you need 8 to fire or something, whatever, and they turn up and then they don't get to play and then they go home. So setting up like a kind of a weekly meetup at a pub or something to get things started, and then from there you can run events. Few things for running the events is proxies obviously are a huge part of the success of all these grassroots events. I think without them, that's where you go into the land of like you actually need to have huge prizes to get people involved. But I'm assuming you're talking about this because you're saying running community Magic events. So proxies allowed. I think another really important thing is having an entry price that's in the middle of competitive and casual. And what I mean by that is entry for the London ones are £15. So that's enough money in the prize pot to like make people fight for it. Like first place is usually £150 to £180 or something. But £15 is also not that much, so someone's not feeling bad about bringing a brew, bringing something a bit funny, or most importantly, getting new players involved. So if you're new to the format, you're not scared off by like a £30 entry fee or something. You're thinking 15 for a day's entertainment, hopefully at least. Hopefully I can learn some things, have a good time. So yeah, finding that middle ground. So I guess $15, $20 if you're in the US, something around that I think makes sense to me.
How does it work with prices? Do people just like get cash or cards?
Yeah, so this is another thing that I only discovered just coming back after COVID, and I didn't do in the past. So in the past, I run them all completely non-profit and always have. So basically I have fees to cover for like the ticket sale website and stuff like that, and I give some money to the venue to help and things. But after that, everything goes back into the prize pool. And so I calculate that on the day based on the number of players there, which is quite easy to do. In the past, I used to buy cards and I used to estimate how many players would come, and it was an absolute nightmare. But now I have a deal with Axia Now, who is a huge supporter of Legacy in the UK, and they are the biggest TOs as well. They have a shop, they sell singles, so I give credit for their store. So I could just give cash, but for me, I want to keep it all within the UK, like, you know, Legacy base supporting each other. So Axia Now have been a huge supporter of our London events. They're friends. I love the people that run it. Francois and Liz, they are, like, you know, genuinely great people and help the UK scene. So yeah, I give out these coupons that are credit, and the players just love it. So if you can find like a local store, it just helps them. The players are happy with it, and I don't know, it just feeds off that.
Yeah. I can see that. What we're doing in Freising is people get cards, and we basically try to like estimate how like. I'm not directly involved with selecting the prices, but from what I see the guys talking about, apparently like we have a pool that we select the cards from that people can win, and then part of the entrance fee is redeemable by 100% for the restaurant or the bar that we do it at, so you can get like drinks during the day. What I'm wondering is, when you get to like the smaller stuff, like I guess getting a coupon for, let's say, I don't know, €5 is not as desirable as, I don't know, getting a €5 card almost.
Yeah.
Just because you spare yourself the trouble of like ordering it and
yeah, I mean, the prizes we have, so we get 40-ish people, so it's just prizes for top 8. So there's always like, it's basically £30, £25 minimum for the quarterfinalists. So it's not like very, very small. Yeah, I think if you're winning like a €5 card, I think it's kind of, I would just put that into top 8 and make it a little bit more top heavy. I don't aim for top heavy, but I feel like everyone that's winning a prize should feel like, oh, this is cool that I won this, rather than like a smaller thing. Right. But I did do the cards as prizes for like 4 years or something, and it's so much work, and I think the players massively prefer credit in my experience now.
Okay.
Just because most of the players would just go and sell the cards, and it's extra work for them to buy things that they exactly want.
True. So, that's the other way around, right?
Yeah,
if we have cards that they don't want, then they have to get rid of them. Yeah.
Exactly. It's more work for them. It's more work for the organizers trying to, like, you know, estimate how many players and stuff are coming. And then the cool thing with these credit is they're not going to expire. Actually now are working with us. So if there's any problems, they just talk to the players. And we've got some people that are like saving up all their prizes to buy a dual land at the end. So,
okay.
So you can really. So we used to give dual lands as prizes. Back in the day, we had like Underground Seas and Vaults for first and stuff, but those prices are long gone. But
now you can get like a water grave maybe.
Yeah. So the idea is people can build towards big things if they want to. Otherwise, they can buy all the smaller stuff. Like very often, you'll see someone win, and then they'll have their endurances for next time that they were proxying or something like that.
Awesome.
I think that really works.
Okay.
And otherwise, I do run them like also in my made up rules enforcement level. I just call it like comp casual or whatever. So
Callum rules enforcement level.
Yeah. This sounds dodgy, but we've not had any problems basically. I'm the judge, and I've never been a judge in my life, but I know the rules well enough. Any judges that are there, I ask them for help if it comes up, and I use my phone and Google a lot. But basically, I kind of, whenever there's a situation arises, I try and rule in the most fair way, which I know judges are meant to do anyway, but I just talk to both the players and say, look, does this solution sound good to both of you? And sometimes I try and not have harsher penalties that would happen at other events, because I just don't believe anyone would.
So what's the harshest penalty you've ever given out?
Nothing.
Wow.
I've not had any problems.
Easy. Okay.
Yeah, no. Like the thing that's easy is I know basically everyone, apart from the people that come in for the first time. Then I'll meet them over time. But at this point, I know 99% of the people that come to them, and I talk to them. They're all so.
Yeah, I can confirm that from all the tournaments I've been to at Et Cetera, which has been going on for 1.5, almost 2 years. Longer, actually. We started before COVID, so I guess there was a break. I don't remember any judge call that left anybody like feeling bad. The only thing that somebody disliked was that we had the sudden death rule for the Invitational. I guess we can quickly touch on that. That's the only time I ever saw somebody angry.
I've had one judge call that was a bad feeling in the mouth afterwards, and I just had to go. It was a he said she said of when the timer stopped, and I had to go and like stop the clock and then come over. And it was a he said she said, and it was one person was winning or the other person was going to get a draw, and I went with my instinct based on what I believed from the players. And
it's kind of funny, like with extra turns, it's always in your interest to pass the turn as quickly as possible, because that means you get the extra turn, like you get 3 extra turns as opposed to your opponent 2, I guess, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. But
anyway,
otherwise, I think the main thing is also just talking to the players there. Like if you set up a Magic event, a Legacy, one of these kind of events, run the first 1 or 2 and just talk to the people and say, like, look, was this good? What would you like differently? But also, since you are in the Discord, please do tag me and say, like, you can ask me for some more in-depth
especially
advice.
when it comes to advertising, right? Because that's the part we haven't touched on yet. Quickly, how do you do it? Do you just like put them on Facebook?
Oh yeah, so we have a Facebook group which used to be like just for the southern part of England, so people would find out, mostly London based, to be honest. And we would just post. It started with me and 2 other friends, and we would just post in there all the details. And I used to do all the tickets ad hoc. I'd have everyone messaging me on Facebook and stuff. Now we've got a ticketing website and stuff. But yeah, it was just there. It was just contained there. We barely had to advertise because word of mouth has really carried it. So the first few events, we had like 20, 25 people in a pub on Sundays. And it just stayed like that. Like once you get like a good group, you don't need to push and like really hound people to come, because if the events are fun and people have a good time, they're gonna come back, and the word of mouth, they'll be like, look, this is really cool, come along.
Oh, absolutely. Also, like one thing I do, for example, or like Google polls or like Google surveys. They're like small polls you can make, and then I usually copy paste those polls in our WhatsApp group, our Berlin Legacy WhatsApp group, where like simple things like, hey, I know that we play on every week on Thursday night, starting at 7. If we exceed more than 17 players, we are supposed to play 5 rounds, but that would mean that the event ends at midnight. Like, do you really, guys, do you want to do that? Or do we want to like cut down to like 4 rounds no matter what? Things like that, or like the price structure, because I also had like the same thing as you guys. Like I started with single cards. Like I bought like so many engineered explosives and blood moons and like all those quote unquote playables, right? Like special situations and DRCs and whatnot, and try to like distribute them. But then you're like, it looks really nice, right? On the photo, like if everyone's like holding like a decent looking card, but then like no one really uses them anyway.
No, it doesn't. It's also really hard to make things fit the price structure that you think the players want as well. Like, God, I gave away so many Liliana the Last Hopes. Like, it's crazy because they were like
pricing. Like,
they were like around £30, and that was like the perfect quarterfinal prize.
I think the guys at pricing, they have some kind of algorithm or something. I could be wrong, but I think they have something set up that almost automatically selects the cards, which is.
I would really recommend them inquiring with like a reseller, a card trader, seeing about credit, because they might be able to give you more credit as well for the prizes.
Like imagine if you buy like so many singles and like you're sitting on like 20 copies of Lurus and then 10 copies of random 6. It's like, dude, they're kind of banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And one thing I want to add for advertising, I remember when I still only like played local events, and that's anything I ever did. Like for me, the coolest thing was to get my name out there. Right, when I got a top 8, and then it was actually posted. And what we do for Et Cetera, for example, is when I'm there, I always try to take pictures of the people, and then we post the pictures on the Twitter account and everything. So that's kind of cool, especially if people care about, hey, I've been top 8ing this every single time, so my name is getting out there. I don't know how much people care about that. I remember I cared about this big time when I started.
Yeah, me too, so, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, Alex, hopefully that answered the question. But as I said, feel free to just post in the Discord or message any of us. Like, I mean, I guess just post there with any more detailed questions, because I'm very happy to help and support.
Cool. We were already touching on like our experiences judging stuff, and we got a question from Prosoken. Kai, could you tell us about your pathetic judge experience from when you were a level 1 judge? Do you remember that? I think you touched on that story when you, right after you went to Japan and you started judging events at the game store that you worked at.
Exactly.
You mentioned that you had an absolutely pathetic experience as a judge, and apparently Chat wants to go deeper on this.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the question. Like, I almost forgot about this story because like it is so embarrassing. But I'm gonna start. So it was in 2014, a few months before I decided to move to Japan. To start at at a local game store called Tokyo MTG, and I wanted to high up my chances and be like, hey, guys, I can do literally anything for the store. So I wanted to like also become a level 1 judge to help support the local events, right? And so I found a level 2 judge in Berlin. And she gave me like this big stack of like Magic the Gathering rules, and I knew a few of them. But back in the day, I was an ad nauseum Tedros player, so I didn't know shit about combat, right? So I had to like read like all those like paragraphs to fully understand like how combat works. And,
guys, have you seen this? There's first strike combat damage. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it is crazy. Like when I read that like a GT on Thalia in mid combat, and then or like a Phyrexian Crusader, what have you. Dude, that just blew my mind. It's like I never want to do combat in my life, like ever again, because it's just really bad,
sweetest.
Right? So like yeah, but generally speaking though, if you play a lot of Magic, and with a lot I mean like like 2-3 times per week, you are already kind of level 1, unless there are like crazy questions like I don't know, I have Chains of Mephistopheles and the other guy has like Sylvan Library or some shit like that, right? You should be good. So I took that level 1 test and I barely made it. I think you have to hit like 90%. You have to be like 90% correct to pass, and I had like 91 or something like that. It was kind of close. I got that. I was like, hey guys, so I have actually never judged an event, but here I am in Tokyo. Ready to take down the first Friday Night Magic.
What's the worst that could happen?
It's like, dude, I mean, I was highly motivated. And obviously, if you start working in a new company, you can't say no, right? So I was like, hey, Friday Night Magic sounds good to me. And there were only like 8 players or so, like 8, maybe 10, playing Standard. And that was right after the Theros block. So it was like I think it was like Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged back in the day.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It was like early spring 2015. And basically I was there. There was like there was my Japanese colleague who was the quote-unquote like head judge for the event. I was the noob. And I was like kind of like carefully watching him while he was doing like all these announcements in Japanese, which I thought were quite... yeah, exotic, because like all these, man, Japan has like way too many rules for everything, really. Like all those like judge announcements. I remember like back in Germany, like they just said whatever, right? Like the head judge makes like some random comment, and then like everyone's gonna like
ready, set, go.
Yeah, it's like has the time already like started? I believe so. Okay, well I guess we play, right? That kind of like mentality. In Japan, it's like super strict. And all those announcements were like all like set in stone, kind of.
Give us an example. Like, what do they tell you in Japan that you never hear outside of it?
In Japanese or like translated in?
Take a guess.
But it is basically like, hey, welcome players. Please make sure to present your 15 sideboard cards to your opponent, like obviously face down, and like make sure to properly shuffle up your deck, like all these like unnecessary things you might wanna think, right? Like,
yeah,
but
I like the idea of you doing that. Like you coming to Japan, you're like, okay, guys, what about you just start now? Go. Everyone, he didn't say the magic words.
Like what if you just never say anything and like just wait for them to start, see what happens. And yeah, and like during the event, the head judge had to also take a break, and that was like in half an hour where I was fully in charge of that Friday Night Magic. And not only did I fuck up the next announcements, because I think I was supposed to like announce the prices, I think, which I didn't do, and a couple of other things, and then there was obviously a judge call, and I went there, and then the one guy he played like an Esper mid-range or control deck with like a couple of like dragons in it, I think like Silumgar and shit like that, and his opponent played like a red-ish aggro deck. I didn't know any of those cards.
These are like the two main decks of that standard, dude.
Dude, and I did not understand a single word that came out of his mouth. Not a single word.
Wait,
how do you get yourself in this position, you nitwit?
So I was standing there, but you can't tell them that I just don't I don't get it. You can't say that, right? So
like,
I acted.
Did you understand like the dialect or like the cards?
No. So my Japanese is like a Japanese of a 5-year-old, right? Because like that sounds so bad though. Like because I was born in Japan. And when I was 5, my family and I, like, we all moved to Germany. So I went to a German school. I never went to a Japanese school. So my Japanese literally, like, the Japanese of a 5-year-old with a little bit of magic keywords.
I have cards. I turn it around.
Yeah. and then there's, like, the super ridiculous judge question. And, like... Oh man, like a couple of those keywords are kind of similar to English because, like, for example, trample is trampere, or like
oh, dude, I'm loving it.
Or like first strike is faster strike.
Oh, this is perfect.
Like a lot, like some of those keywords are like somewhat similar, but other ones are completely different. And again, like I really didn't want to like fuck up my job, right? Because it was the first week at Tokyo DG, and I had to act super smart. I was like, hey.
So you were like,
yeah. So I was like, yeah, listen carefully. So since I don't know the answer, what do you think, opponent? It's like,
did you ask the opponent for the ruling?
Yeah. So I asked the opponent, and the opponent said something, and like he acted kind of confident. Like I also didn't understand what he said, but he acted kind of like his face, like he was kind of like sitting upright, like he had like a kind of serious.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like when in like some movie somebody fakes their way into being a doctor, and then all of a sudden somebody gets actually ill and they have to treat them, and then they are talking to like the assistants like,
it's like, yeah, what
do you propose? Oh, okay, let's go with that.
And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I just said, yeah, what he said, and then I tried to find the shittiest excuse to also take my break ASAP.
Yeah, that sounds pretty pathetic, not gonna
lie. I never judged a magic event after that.
Oh, that was the only time?
That was the only event I judged.
So they never put you in charge again, or did you actively have to ask for it?
I refused to. Cause
whoa. Isn't that like a big deal?
That was like a 3-round, no one really cares F&M standard in early 2015.
You'll always be my favorite judge, don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you, I hate it.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Oh gosh.
I just like the idea of asking the opponent, what should we do? Okay, let's do that.
Pro Tour Top 8 finals. And they're like, what do you think, opponent? Should he be able to go back and block?
Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah, me neither.
Fair.
Perfect.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's pretty pathetic. Not gonna lie. Okay. Nice. In the future, I want to hear more Kai on his first week on the shop stories, because this sounds actually hilarious.
Kai, you can come over and judge an LLM sometime.
I really should.
Guest Judge Kai.
Yeah.
Judge. You know, a friend of mine is a real judge, like not magic judge, and he told me they have some like exchange programs where German judges are being sent to Mongolia and Mongolian judges are being sent to Germany, and I don't know what exactly you do there, like, because like the law is different, but there must be something. There's like a judge. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I guess like, depending on the country, maybe some judges are like, in some countries that people are more like harsh maybe, or people are more like maybe a little softer with the rules. Maybe that's possible. Like sometimes, like when you go to like international GPs, doesn't matter which format. Like I always feel like Asian judges are a little softer. I feel.
Oh really?
Yeah,
they like, always ask the opponent, right?
What do you think?
Okay, cool. So before I move on, we have one more question that could be in its entire episode. So I say we just like go quickly over what Thrifts has asked, and that is, what is your biggest level up moment with a deck you had already played for a long time? So a big improvement you made to your play with the deck that even after you thought you understood it quite well. Is there anything that comes to mind for you guys?
I've got a really good example, actually. I've got a moment with a deck that I played for a while in a game that I realized what I was doing, and I felt like just understanding the position I was in really made me a better player from that moment on. So it was with Childless Bug, and I'd played it for a long time before then. I was playing against like classic Rug Delver with Stifle and stuff, and I was still not a great player at all by any means. I was still learning lots of things, but I remember very, very vividly, I kept a hand of like 5 lands and like a removal spell and a force or something, but I was like, great, I've got 5 lands against the Stifle Wasteland deck. This is really good. So, but I also then realized, like, what if he just plays a Delver? I'm in a lot of trouble because I don't have anything going on. Maybe I didn't even have a removal spell. So they went like fetch pass, and and I'm thinking, okay, they're looking to stifle me. And I think I had like 2 jewels and 2 fetches. And at that moment, I realized, oh my god, I can Richard import them. I can play a fetch rather than a jewel, even though I'm flooded, because me playing a fetch makes them keep up the stifle because it's something that's stifleable. So I managed to like prolong the game for a very long time, and that made me realize the power of hidden information and understanding decks of the format. So that's an example for me that was like a really big level up. If you know your opponent's deck and game plan like from the get-go, you can make... So for me there, playing the fetch rather than a jewel probably made them not play a threat turn 2, for example, and it just prolonged the game, let me draw into removal and better cards and stuff. So that was a nice... I've always remembered this moment like years ago. That's me.
I love those games, man. Like where like it's a lot of like mind gaming going on.
Exactly. All it boiled down to was which lands to play first, but it was enticing your opponent into thinking they're in a different position than they are, just with nothing else than a land drop. That's the kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I got like something similar to like I think the moment when I realized that you should more often like in a tempo mirror, at least back in the day, like casting spells on your opponent's upkeeps is quite powerful. Like obviously like activating wastelands too, but also casting like I started to like cast brainstorms, for example, more often in opponents' turns. And even though they had Pyroblast, like sometimes they would not Pyroblast my brainstorm because they wanted to go to the main phase and like do something else maybe. Like they were too afraid of like tapping out to Pyroblast my brainstorm.
Yeah, definitely. Using every phase is a really important thing. Like when you understand, this is why I love Magic Online, because you see all the phases in front of you. Like another one that is often misunderstood unless you know the deck well is being able to untap Knight of the Reliquary at the end of, after damage, at the end of the combat step. Like it's end of combat is not a very used combat step, but understanding the whole turn process can give you a lot of nice little angles like that as well.
Oh yeah.
So for me, I guess I could pick better ones that depend on the deck that are not as spectacular. One of the coolest moments that happened to me was when I was playing Maverick against Tide, and that is understanding how to play against Wipe Away. And I guess most Maverick players know this, and I've even like later seen it on SCG. I think Jacob Kobe, co-founder of Everyday Journal, did it on stream, which was so cool because I had figured it out shortly before as well. And that is when you know your opponent has Wipe Away, right? And sometimes you do, because they're Cunning Wish for it. And those who don't know, Wipe Away is a bounce spell with Split Second. And you are playing Maverick. Your main goal is to get Gadok Teak down and protect it with Mother of Runes, so they cannot go into, let's say, Time Spiral on their turn. So what would happen in most games is you go to your end step, they wipe away your Gadok Teak, and you're fucked, right? They untap, they kill you. So I was sitting there and I was thinking, what can I do? And I discarded most of the lines that like are stupid, like wastelanding yourself and stuff that never gets there. But then for one moment I was thinking about, what if I activated Mother of Runes on my main phase to give protection to Gadok Teak? And usually, like, you wouldn't do that, right? Because it's so hard-coded into your brain that you do it in response to remove a spell, so you gain card advantage, yada yada, they need a second remove a spell, whatever. But I thought about it, I didn't immediately discard the line, I thought it to the end, and I was, okay, I give protection to Gadok, like, straight up in my main phase. He can respond with a Wipe Away if he wants to, but then I replay Gadok, and then Gadok is going to be around on his turn. Oh, or, if he lets Mother of Runes resolve, I just name blue, and he cannot bounce it at the end step. So he has to go into his turn, and then if he wants to bounce it on his turn for 3 mana, that just like messes up his mana big time as well. So yeah, you could really tell like the opponent was like feeling, hey, why is he activating the Mother of Runes in the main phase? And then they think it through, and they're like, oh, this is bad. Like yeah. And I guess the level up moment in that regard is I almost don't discount any lines. Like I at least try to see the variation of it, like one step deeper before I throw them away. Even if I feel like they are stupid, that's why I guess on stream you will sometimes let me think about like stupid stuff, and sometimes it's just like makes for a really cool plays. Like
that's cool. It took me a second to kind of work out what you were doing as well, so it's very much not an intuitive line. I think the lesson there is don't autopilot also unless it's your autopilot that you've learned yourself in a way. Yeah. The way you described it there's better. Like, I don't think I would have thought that. When you were saying it, I was thinking of if I'm playing lands, you can use Grove to trigger a punishing fire to protect things from surgical. Yeah. Or you can split second effects.
Yeah, it works like in split second as well.
This was it. You play a Crows and Grip and then you activate Grove and they don't get to surgical it. Anyway, I'm getting lost in the source. There's some weird stuff with that.
Oh, that's actually really smart, right?
Yeah,
you put
so
Crows and Grip on the stack and then you return it to your hand and they can't, because otherwise they could like respawn surgical it.
Yes.
That's basically a similar principle to when before countering Past on Flames you put a fetch line activation on the stack.
Yeah. Some of that. Yeah. Magic is weird.
There are so many sweet creative plays in Legacy, and even more so when they actually work out.
Yeah.
Cool. So we had a pretty long intro sequence. We know Kai has to go. He's got a late night date in Berlin doing something special. We don't know actually. But Kai, before you have to leave us and go deep into the Berlin underground, do you want to tell us a little bit about Japan? You already talked about how there's so many lessons to be learned about going to Japan. Always be eating is probably one of the most important ones.
I think there's like there was like the rule number 1 is always keep eating. Always keep eating. It is such a simple rule, but like now that I know how boring German food can be,
you don't really look like you follow it.
I gained a little bit of weight.
Like half a kilo.
Well, like how much can you possibly gain in like 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
Well, I had like sometimes like up to 4 meals per day, and like everything I had, but like all I was thinking was like, okay, so how fair or like what's the earliest time for breakfast so I can have like more time in the day to eat like early lunch, late lunch. And it's like almost like a hobbit kind of, right? And it's like I just kept eating because everything is so delicious and also cheap at the same time.
You posted some pictures on your food channel on I think the Summer Tarek's food channel.
Oh yeah,
dude, holy shit! Like you had some insane stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, seafood is just absolute over the top, but also like meat and like how they're always like smaller portions, but you kind of start like appreciating the food a little more if it's not like a truckload of food on the plate,
Mm-hmm.
And also like eating like 4 times per day makes you like happy 4 times. So it's really good.
So you had breakfast, you had early lunch, late lunch, and dinner.
Exactly, but I try to not like eat like as much as I can, but only like up to 70-80%. So I was like never like really full, but I kept like the 70-80% like throughout the whole day. So you shouldn't really like do this like on a day-to-day basis, but
I like the disclaimer that you put there. So when you say you were eating, did you eat out at restaurants most of the time?
Yeah, kind of, but what I did this time was like I didn't travel at all. So I went back to
This is getting better. Like you're just sitting there, like food is coming into your mouth like every couple of hours. You don't move. You just
like,
play Magic and eat.
Like, what I'm saying is like I went to like the places I knew, with friends I knew, and like I didn't do any new experiments whatsoever. So like the 2.5 weeks were basically like an episode of like me of the past 8 years when I stayed there. So And that was the good part because like so I messaged my friends online. That's like the equivalent to WhatsApp in Japan. I was like, hey guys, I'm here. Do you want to hang out tomorrow or like the day after? I was like, yeah, sure. Oh, same place, same time, yeah. And that was literally the whole conversation. And then we met there. At first half an hour, like you talk about like the last 9 months, 10 months, like what happened, what happened in Germany, yada yada yada, and then it's like kind of back to normal, and then we talk about like the things we used to talk about, right? And that's exactly what I needed. It's kind of like a second home, and
Dude, you almost make me nostalgic for it, even though I haven't even been there.
Yeah, it is so good though because you don't have to do any stupid research on any like good restaurants or anything like that because you already know all the places. That's so good. It saves you a lot like stress, time, and you can focus like on the real shit.
Like winning Legacy.
Like magic. Because I also went to to the majority of all stores in Tokyo, and there are way too many stores in Tokyo. I think I went to more than 20 different stores.
It's so crazy to me that you tell me there's 20 different stores in Tokyo. Like, there's not 20 different... Maybe there's 20 different stores in southern Germany even. But, all in Tokyo?
Yeah, and a lot of them are in the same area. Maybe you guys have heard of Akihabara. That's
of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Electric Town City district
That's
in
where
Tokyo.
you go when you buy, like, anime merchandise and everything.
Right. Robot cafes, maid cafes, all that kind of nonsense.
Have you ever been to a maid cafe? Is it really as creepy as they say?
It is cringe as fuck, dude.
Oh, cringe? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they put like bunny ears on you and like they start singing and like they tell you how cute you are.
Do you not love that? I mean, that's I think it's your kind of thing.
I mean, once per decade, I would love that. I needed that after that Josh question. I think I really needed some bunny ears.
Dude, I would love to, like, if you had Instagram back then, you just like posted a picture, you're completely wasted in a maid cafe and you have some bunny ears on you and you're like, this was the worst day of my life. In the background there's like two girls smiling. Kawaii!
We find Kai crying next to the toilet with bunny ears on. What happened? They asked me a judge question.
I didn't know any of the words. Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
But other than that, there was also, I was fortunate enough to also be there while there was the God of Legacy. I think we touched on that topic many times already, but it happens 4 times per year, similar to 4 seasons in Bologna in Italy. It is like a quarter year Legacy tournament. We had 187 players this time, and there's no fixed date for the tournament, unfortunately, because like I had to book my flight like 3 months in advance, and yes, I can book flights, but they made the announcement for the God of Legacy like a month prior, so I was basically just fortunate enough to be there on time.
Oh, it was just by chance, kinda.
It was kind of just by chance, and I'm pretty good friends with like the judges there. And asked them, is there like anything they can do or like I can do to make it possible for the future, right? Because I wanna attend Japan like at least once per year, and I kind of dig those God of Legacy tournaments. So but it's not as easy as I thought, because they're gonna schedule it like based also on the schedule of the current god, and if he or she is also available or in town or whatever, right? It's not as easy. So but anyway, I swapped out anyway. So I went like 4-4 in the main event. I played Doomsday, and I think it was a big mistake. I should have played Cephalic Breakfast.
Did you play Gloom?
No.
How many times did you play against
but I played 3 copies of Subtlety, dude. I mean, that's the same shit.
Imagine how much better Gloom would have been.
Yeah.
Like, turn 1 Gloom, GG. It's over.
Yeah.
You should listen to your co-host, seriously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can taste the disappointment in Callum's voice.
So upset you didn't just register 4 main deck Glooms and be like...
Oh, main deck Glooms?
Yeah, get to the next level.
Yeah, because you play the Painters as well, like Julian suggested.
Oh, God. I better get used to it now.
But did you have a great time at the event? Or?
I did, absolutely. And I think like at this event specifically, I was a little distracted the whole day because I met too many Legacy friends, like after almost like 10 months in between rounds, and it was like I was more focused on like on talks between rounds rather than the games themselves. Maybe you guys can kind of relate. If you go to like a big tournament and it's kind of more about the people and not about the game almost.
That's what he says after losing. If you won, it'd be different.
I mean, I already I already started 0-1. I had my first mulligan to 3 cards, I think, in a year.
Oh shit! Okay.
And not because like I was kind of tilted or whatever, but because I literally didn't hit any lands until I had the mulligan to 3. And at that point, I kind of knew, well, maybe today is more like a, I'm probably supposed to talk more, maybe.
That's fair.
You already kind of like gave up on the inside.
I kind of did.
I'm just here for the experience. I mean, I can get that.
Right. I guess that's fair. That's fair. But what's really huge was that a lot of my friends in Japan, they knew about the European Legacy Masters. That was pretty cool. Like I don't think they fully know what it really is, but it sounds pretty cool.
Doesn't matter. See, that's the marketing thing. Like you don't even need to understand it if you push it correctly. Like nobody knows how the Super Bowl works or the NBA playoffs or something, but people know. Oh, you won that thing? Amazing! Like I watch NFL, I don't even know the rules. Yeah, I mean European Legacy Masters. That's a thing. Like you top 8'd that shit.
Exactly, but for them, like for my Japanese friends, like they thought that this is like some kind of GP or something. It's like, 2000, it was close to 2,000 players, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if we count the bingo players from the previous day in the same place, like,
dude, 100%.
Yeah, we could break 2,000 easily. Biggest bingo tournament in the West. I wonder how big bingo actually is in Japan.
I can't. I don't think the bingo is a big thing, but there are other games such as Go, for example.
Yeah, slightly more cerebral Go compared to bingo.
Similar games.
Yeah,
same thing.
Maybe there's a DeepMind AI that like plays bingo really well.
Yeah. Kai, do you actually know who is the next God of Legacy?
Yeah. So I watched the God challenge, and it was the current God played Blue Red Delver with a little more graveyard hate. I think like 3 copies of Surgical, something like that. And then the God contender challenger was on 4-color Yorion, and he took it down.
Wow!
Like that deck, like four. It was basically Anorak Das dot deck. It was basically Anorak's 75, I think. And that deck is, holy moly, that deck is so good against Delver.
I'm looking at it now. It's got 4 carpets sideboard.
It is so much removal.
I'm looking at decklist right now. Is that Kyoto Katsuyuki?
Yes, exactly.
Dude, there's 3 copies of Stifle in the main deck.
Yeah.
Anorak.
Yeah.
Anorak did that, yeah.
I think, there was like an Anorak thing to stifle Initiative, to stifle Uro, obviously. Like, Oracle also, and also just like kind of get ahead on mana. Like, did you guys see that?
It's also amazing against like Finale Descent and Elvish Reclaimer and Painter, honestly, as well. Like, Stifle's just good, I think. It's a great call.
I feel like every single creature in Legacy has like an activated or triggered ability, I feel like. Yeah. At this point. Except Murktide. Oh no, actually even Murktide has a triggered ability. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Dude. So there's a new God in town.
There's a new God in town, and it is a little easier now. Oh, guys, one last thing though. I have to tell you about this like super crazy tech that happened during that match, because that's like something I've almost never seen before. So obviously the current God, Takano Shigeki, he was in Blue Red Delver, and he knew that he's the underdog in this matchup against 4-color Yorion. And what he did is he sided out all copies of Delver of Secrets and a couple of bolts of things like that, and basically tried to out-control the Yorion player. And that actually worked in game in one of the post-board games, and it was beyond ridiculous, because I've never seen something like that. It was like the Yorion, because what ended up happening is that the Yorion player had a lot of expressive feature, prismatic endings and Swords to Plowshares and like all those white removal spells ready to, be cast on early Delvers, but there were no creatures until turn 10. And like purposely, like in Takano Shigeki purposely brainstormed back all his Dragon's Rage Channelers and Murktide Regent and focused more on counterbalance and basically like non-creature threats and chaining as many expressive iterations into more as possible.
And then like Mystic Sanctuary days, Mystic Sanctuary and stuff.
Exactly. And at one point, like the Delver player has like all counters in hand and probably a counterbalance, and the Yorion player has all white removal spells and endurance, which cannot really be played because like obviously he's waiting for that ambush viper moment. So it was really interesting to see. And,
this is amazing. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of when we was Ragavan still around? I don't remember. But with the blue red or Cheskai Delver deck, you would sometimes put yourself into similar situations, and the one card from the control side, for example, Cheskai control, which was bigger back then, that would always break that point, because you were sitting there with like a bunch of red blasts and forests and stuff, and they would eventually have that flash planeswalker. I don't remember. Is it, what's it called? Wandering Emperor, exactly. And I was sitting there with like Pyroblasts and Flusterstorms and everything in my Delver control deck. And that was always the card that would break it for me, and that made it so much harder.
I think not everyone played that, but what I loved from that era was JPA, I think's tech of beating miracles with Tormod's Crypt. He would Force of Negation and treat the angels, and Tormod's Crypt them, and just nuke them.
That feels so blunt.
No. He said he used his whole game plan as like Jeskai Delver with Luris was to just deck the miracles players.
Dude, I keep talking about that. I keep talking about how you sometimes, even with elves and with Painter even more so, sometimes you do that. And the control player is always like, that never really happens. Like, yeah, it does.
No. He said it happened all the time. He would basically, because they had like multiple Mystic Sanctuaries, they'd try and rebuy the Entreat, and he would like fight heavily over Force of Negationing it so it exiled, or he would just leave Tormod's and Crypts in play until he can exile it. And then maybe they played 2, but he'd basically just fight over that, let all the card advantage resolve, and just beat that.
That's such a smart man.
That's incredible. Really.
Yeah, so similar idea really. If you have this macro game plan and you think it's good enough to do it, then you can just concentrate on that, and it's going to catch people by surprise as well.
Absolutely.
And
guys, just one sec. I gotta leave now. I'm sorry.
You gotta run? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I have to. I have to.
Cool. See you,
awesome.
man.
See you, guy. Bye-bye.
Cool.
Oh, man. So, too many tournaments, but I'm loving it. Kai is really, really into this. Like setting up a proper scene. Like, Berlin really deserves better.
Yeah, it feels similar to like where London was years ago, where you've got all these kind of like almost there situations, but then you just need something to tie it all together and just get these monthly events plus or more running.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right, when you think about in Munich as well. Like, Munich is like, what, 1.4 million people? But the legacy scene is actually in a suburb in Freising, which has like 50k people or something. And now the Et Cetera thing, it's even expanding. I guess I can quickly talk about that. We do this Invitational, I think, once a year, even though the next one is in summer, which I still don't fully get. But I guess it's supposed to be a qualifier for the European Legacy Masters, so I guess we want to do it before it. And starting in the new season, starting in 2022, you can not only qualify for the Invitational by winning the Et Cetera tournament, you can also qualify by winning the Ultra Comics events in Nuremberg, or the Winter Duel in Tübingen, which is like another really big tournament series in southern Germany. And of course at the BB Spiele in Rosenheim, which already used to be the case for the last couple of months. And if you win any of those events, or you accumulate enough ELO points in some kind of list that we are maintaining, then you can qualify for the next... Is it going to be 16? Maybe we're going to expand it to 32. I guess it's going to depend on how many tournaments there's going to be. But anyway, you can qualify for the Et Cetera Invitational and try to dethrone, drumroll, me.
Oh my god. Well, tell us how it went. You played this recently, right?
Yeah, I played this recently, and I guess I'm going to quickly touch on the tournament format. So we didn't play a normal Swiss into top 8 format because that would have taken too long. But we played a group stage system. So we had 4 groups of 4 each. And if you watch like any kind of StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, you know how it works. First match, then the winners play, the winner moves on. The losers play, the loser is eliminated, and then the loser of the winner's match and the winner of the loser's match play, and the winner of that moves on. So basically, it's 5 matches guaranteed. You move into top 8, and then you have single elimination all the way to the top. So I played Mono Red Delver.
Yo, what?
Exactly, Julian, tell us about it. No, I played Mono Red Painter. I was thinking of playing... Yeah, I was thinking of playing the Black Splash and the Chaos Defiler, right, that you've been talking about. I only got to play it once, very briefly before, because it's not on Magic Online yet. And you also told me you weren't sure about the mana base yet. And we had a deadline of submitting the deck lists a couple of days ahead. So I was like, you know what? For the last 6 months, I've been playing this and I've been crushing like crazy. Let's just go with the Mono Red version and let's get there. And that's what I said it is.
That's fair. I'm convinced that Defiler is going to be like a staple in the deck, but as you said, like there's still uncertainties until we get to play it more. So that's totally fair. And well, it worked out.
Yeah, it very much worked out. So I started off in the first round against Doomsday, and I actually ended up losing. I mean,
Really?
we talk about, right, how the matchup can be good, but sometimes you don't always get there. I don't remember how I actually lost it, but probably involved a quick Doomsday.
Yeah.
And in the
I mean, matchups are not 100% for a reason, right? Even if it's a 90-10, like you still lose 10% of the time.
exactly,
And that deck is so powerful, so it can, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's like, yeah, it's not 90-10, right?
Oh, I'm not saying it's 90-10.
I know you're not saying that. I just
It's
wanted
like
to-
55-45, whatever, but
I would say 60-40 or something.
Yeah.
I got to steal the second game. I think it was literally just turn 1 Magus of the Moon, and the opponent went to discard like a couple of times, and then the game ended. And the third game, I got to disrupt them with what was it? Surgical Extraction post Doomsday, and we eventually arrived at a game state where I think there were like 2/3 to draw the card that they needed and 1/3 to not draw it, and 2/3 got there. So I had to play the losers match against Blue Black Shadow, which also came down to a pretty critical situation in the third game, where I kept milling myself with Grindstone with an active welder, because I really, really, really needed to find Painter. It was practically the only way I was gonna win. So I kept milling myself hard, like really hard, every single time I could afford it, like mill yourself, mill yourself. Eventually he gets to kill welder, and I untap and I literally just rip Painter and win.
hell yeah. Dude, I mean, we play these combos in our deck to draw them.
Yeah. I mean, I have no bad feelings about that. I just got that.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, and I guess you do the same. I only really realized that I really want Magus of the Moon against the Blue Black Shadow decks.
Oh,
do you do the same?
It's the best card. It just wins on the spot. The only way out of it after that is like they have to have their basic swamp if they play it, and like 3 other lands to hard cast to snuff out. Basically, it's
or like the rare case that they have Fatal Push or like an Island Brazen Borrow or something. But yeah, it felt like it was insanely good. They really had to take care of it. So yeah, that allowed me to advance in second place out of the group.
Nice.
In the quarterfinals, I played against Dragon Stompy. I got there. In the semifinals, I played against Dragon Stompy. I got there.
anything interesting in those matches?
Well, basically it wasn't even a hard call. It was pretty straightforward. I was in a situation where I could keep up Pyroblast early on in the game, because the opponent was completely out of cards. They had put a bunch of stuff to the table. I Furied everything away. Actually, no, I didn't Fury, right? That was the thing. They had, let's say, Simian Spirit. They had Magus of the Moon and Rebel Master or something. I think that the second target wasn't that great. I think it was Rebel Master plus Simian Spirit Guide. And I really didn't want to use my Fury. I don't remember why, but I really didn't want to use it. And I also didn't want to keep up Pyroblast. It gets really weird from here. Like, what did I even want to do? I think I was setting up for the kill next turn and needed the extra card. And the opponent was out of cards. They literally were hellbent. And I go through their decklist because the event was open decklist. And I go through their decklist in my mind. And I arrive at a single card that I really care about that they could have. And that's Fireflux Squad. And in case they find Fireflux Squad, I want to Fury the board away, right? So Fireflux Squad doesn't get to trigger by sacrificing a creature and getting something. So I'm like, okay, it's a one-off. It's the only card I care about. And if I, for one turn, don't care about it, I can untap and win the next turn against almost anything. Yeah, they drew Fireflux Squad. And Fireflux Squad found Fury, which, like, dismantled my board.
See, it's not 100%. You just gotta.
Sometimes it was the right call. Like, it was funny to me because the moment he drew the card and he tapped the mana, I was like, "This is Fireflux Squad." Shit. Like he
sometimes if you know they have a 1-outer, like you just get that feeling. Like before they even tap their mana, you're like, "I know it's that." Like you just
Yeah, I don't know how much time you spend on like watching your opponent's eyes. I very much spend a lot of time watching their eyes.
Yeah,
during the draw step. Like when they draw and their first look is like on your lands, you often feel like, is this Wasteland? It could very much be Wasteland. There's such like the graveyard thing is sometimes like almost like, I don't know, not real. They try to throw you off, but when they draw something and the first look is your lands, it's almost Wasteland. But yeah, in that case. I eventually got through. It's just, Fury is insane. Fury in these matchups, you often talk about it, right? It's completely insane.
Yeah.
It's
a Fury. Whoever draws the most Furies and whoever like times them the best is just the matchup usually.
Yeah, especially if you get to copy them later on, right? With Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's just that's always such a beating.
Well, the Fable should never live in But yeah,
it rarely does. It rarely does. In the third game, the semifinals and finals are going to be on YouTube. I think
cool.
Finn of Magic, FYNN, a German guy who does commentary. I'm not sure they're up yet, but they probably will be in February. And the semifinals were kind of interesting. The opponent started, like, I had a turn 2 kill. I got the 2 Soul Lands, Painter, and Grindstone. And you just like go turn 1 Brainstorm, turn 2 Grindstone them, and there's not really much they can do.
I love those free wins.
Yeah, the thing is, he was on the play, and he had turn 1 Trinisphere.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which made things a little more complicated, especially since he followed it up with, I believe, Magus of the Moon, which made my Solens a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
But in the long run, I'm pretty sure that it actually hurt him more than it did me. Like, he was almost caught on his own Trinisphere and Magus for much harder times than I had been. But in the end, I think the most critical situation was, it could have been the previous game, but I think it wasn't this one. He could kill one of my creatures, and he decided to get rid of the most random creature. I don't remember what it was.
A Seamless
no. He got rid of the, what's it called, the token, the Goblin Shaman that Fable makes.
Yeah.
But exactly, and I had Breyer's Apprentice in play as well. And Breyer's Apprentice is the card that completely won the game from there. Like, the card was completely out of control. It eventually found a Fury that I really needed. And had he killed Breyer's Apprentice, because he Furied, and he killed, I think, the Breyer's token, and then he could have either killed the Breyer or the Shaman. And he killed the Shaman. I talked to him afterwards, and I could already tell in the game he was probably doing it because he wanted to deny me some mana, because he didn't know that it was holding extra mana.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the play that eventually got me there. And dude, I just love Breyer's Apprentice so much. I will never not.
I know I've cut it for a while now, but it does have its moments and its games.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there I moved on into the finals against Christian Staubsauger St. Johanse.
So this is a much more interesting deck, right?
Well, I don't know if we want to call it a deck.
Well, it's very interesting.
Yeah. So what he put together is a black-white Helm Initiative deck. This is the most meta-game deck I have ever seen at any of those tournaments. Because we knew the 16 players who were going to play there. You even knew the players that were going to be in your group. And he put something together to target the metagame really hard. So you gotta imagine it's basically like a Stompy deck with, let's say, Karn, Helm, Leyline, Dark Ritual, and Opposition Agent. Because the group stage, I was in this group. I didn't play against him because we went 2-0 and left the group. But I was also Doomsday, which of course, like, Opposition Agent's insane against. And then he just randomly threw in the 8 initiative creatures, right? He just randomly had these 8 white initiative creatures, some scrublands here and there, some fetchlands, and he just made it work.
Yeah, I mean, if you got fast mana and initiative creatures is a good combo, funnily enough.
Yeah, he even had, like, Voidwalker, right? That Leyline on legs, which basically some 8 main deck Leylines, and Karn finds more stuff. I watched the semifinals against Benedict Gruber. Dude, that guy did some obscene shit. Like, some like St. Johann, like, I don't want to call him St. Johann, so everybody calls him Staubsauger. What Staubsauger did, he played the first turn. Here's the sequence of the first 2 turns. Staubsauger goes, turn 1 Thoughtseize, take your Force of Will. But it's not over from there. He goes, Chrome Box, imprint something, Dark Ritual, Doughty Voidwalker. Then Bene untaps, I don't know what he does, doesn't matter. Then Staubsauger untaps again, plays another Thoughtseize, takes Bene's Chase, which goes under the Voidwalker, sacrifices the Voidwalker, turn 2, I play your Chase, and then he just runs.
Amazing. Yeah.
Dude, this is insane.
Voidwalker can do some crazy things.
Yeah, I've cast my fair share of Emrakuls with it. I streamed together with Kevin Dane the other day, and we were playing our mill deck, and we had 7 permanents, so including Voidwalker. So what we did is we took a sneak attack hit from Emrakul, sacrificed everything except for the Voidwalker. The Emrakul goes onto the Voidwalker, we untap and kill the opponent.
Amazing. I saw that you beat Sneak and Show, and I was like, how the hell does Mill beat that? But that's how.
Yeah, we do
just
it every once in a while.
Easy.
Just use their creatures against them.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I'm up against Staubsauger with this, like, insanely good deck against me in the finals. Even Opposition Agent, right, is super annoying for us to play against. Shuts down Saga, shuts down Goblin Engineer and stuff. It's such an ugly card to play against, and Karn is also kind of a problem. I'm trying to remember. I think he might have taken the first game. I actually don't remember what the exact sequence was. So it went to 3 games anyway. So what I noticed it might have even been the first game, is even though I thought I cared about Karn, I actually don't care about Karn as much as I thought I would.
No, Karn is not as good against Painter as people think, these builds anyway. It's the same reason that, like, the deck is built to have game against, like, Meltdown and Collector Roof and stuff. It It doesn't completely destroy you. You can attack it down.
Yeah, it was just like so weird because I had a Painter in play and a Saga on 2, and he played an end of turn opposition agent. And I knew I had to Pyroblast it, even though I didn't really wanna. Because if I didn't, then he was gonna get a Grindstone of my Saga and was gonna kill me.
Yep.
So it was basically like a forced line. But it was also so telegraphed that he was setting this up so he could resolve Karn next turn, which I thought was gonna be super annoying. But then I kind of realized I don't care about Karn, honestly. So the game went on, and he could use Karn like so many times. I think he got, what's it called? The land destruction thing, liquid metal coating.
Yep.
He got liquid metal coating, and that was pretty much it. Like, he got some more random stuff that didn't really matter, but then Karn was just sitting there. I ignored it. I just, like,
nice.
I attacked him, and he lost.
And that's how you play Magic, everyone.
Dude, I think Karn went to 10 or something. I'm not even
Really?
sure. Like,
Wow.
he ran out of stuff that mattered. Like,
He
Karn
didn't,
just, like,
didn't
plus-
have lattice, I guess.
No, he didn't have letters, and he just like kept killing my lands every single turn. I was like, dude, here's another one, and take one. And I think at some point I had like a random goblin or something. Like eventually, it was a rather absurd game.
That's great. This was the game 3.
No. The game 3 finish was something else. The game 3 finish was one of the coolest things I ever did in Magic.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I still love talking about it. So in the third game, I feel like I'm in a good position for most of the game. He has a ley line out, which makes it a little bit more annoying for me because my Graveyard Combo stuff doesn't really work. But I'm in an okay position, right? You're sitting there with Fable and stuff, and we get to a point where I go a little bit low on life, he goes a little bit low on life because he keeps using his Ancient Tombs, and I think he once again has Karn, which I think doesn't really do all that much. So he puts a White Bloom Adventure into play, takes the initiative. I remove it. I take back the initiative instead of killing Karn. That was basically one of the biggest things. Instead of killing Karn, I take back the initiative. And then on my next turn, because he's not able to flash in an opposition agent, so I keep the initiative for one more turn. But he makes a... Could he make a Dungeoneer? I think he might have made it. No, he didn't make a Dungeoneer. Anyway, on my turn, you would think I would scry for 2. Because... it just felt like I was out of cards at that point. Like, I had done some stuff. He had traded some blows. I removed the White Bloom Adventurer. I had some creatures in play, but no big offense. I think I had the Goblin Shaman token from Fable. And you would think I would scry. Like, this is a situation where you just scry. You're drawing from the top. The game is maybe not going to end very soon. And if it's going to end, it's probably going to end in his favor because he's playing the combo, right? He could top deck a Helm. But I do not scry. I forge. And do you know why I forged?
Nope.
Here's the deal. I forged on my Goblin Shaman token because he was on 9 life. And do you see where this is going?
Oh, yeah, fine. If it's lethal next turn, yeah.
No, it's not lethal. Oh, yeah, I guess it's
trap,
lethal.
probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I forge the dude, and I don't go for Karn. I could have killed Karn on that spot. No, I go for the face. I take him down to exactly 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pass the turn, and he actually has Helm. Actually,
I see where this is going.
I think I might have taken him down to 7. No, I took him down to 5. Yeah, I took him down to 5, and then he used Ancient Tomb, and he keeps looking at me. I have a single card in my hand. I think I was even tapped out at that point for something. I don't remember. Maybe I made a Fable. I don't remember. Anyway, it didn't really
It's
matter.
actually, before you say what it is, if you take him down to 7 there, and there's an Ancient Tomb in play for the Helm, that's pretty smart.
No. I took him down to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was sitting there, and he was looking at me, and he's like, okay, I guess what can you have? There's nothing you can really have, because he had Leyline in play, and he had Helm.
Yeah.
So he thinks about this for like a minute or so, and then he puts Helm into play, and I just shrug, and he keeps thinking about it for some more. Then he mills me. I take my deck, I just put it to the side. At that point, some of the organizers are actually already walking away from the table and are reporting to the judge, scorekeeper, whatever, that Staubsauger won.
Nope.
And then I take
You
my
have
deck
an
away.
upkeep step.
Yeah, exactly, right? I go to my upkeep. I'm like, okay, I trap you.
Yes,
5.
mate. Beautiful.
That's so good.
It's so nice seeing the lines where you're just like, I mean, and he didn't, I guess.
He did, like, as he was about to pass, he eventually realized it, right?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you got that thing. Oh, okay.
That initiative thing. It's like, this is your fault. You put this in this game.
And, you know, I just love this, because this is cathartic in a way, almost, because this has happened to me. I played Magic Online. I milled I'm a mill deck as well, right? Yeah. I played Magic Online. I milled the opponent with my painter, and I felt like, got it, easy win, let's move on. Oh, I die on their upkeep. They don't have a library, I die on their upkeep. This literally happened to me a couple of days before. So I was like, okay, hey, dude, no, let's reverse the table. Let's just let's do it the other way around. And I ended up winning. And I even walked over to the guys, and they were like, oh, sorry, you lost. Like, no, actually, I won.
And they're just like, what? How? What? What's going on?
Yeah, you can watch it in the replays. They're gonna be on Findom Magic. I'm definitely gonna post them on Twitter once they become available next month. And let's see how properly I described it. Maybe I mixed up some games.
What did you win?
The title. The title, nice. Which qualifies
That's the best thing.
Which qualifies me for the next invitational, and I got a really cool custom handmade trophy.
Nice.
You can awesome. Turn it on and give it some light effects. I tried to do that. I don't know how to properly control it, but
wow.
I tried to put it where I put my other Magic trophies, but I ran out of space. Like the shelf is
completely full. Big brags.
Humble brags. No, very big brags, true. No, I literally the thing is so many MKM and Boss Harvmox and stuff. I put it somewhere else, but I still have to find a proper place for it.
Mm-hmm.
So very big shout outs to the Et Cetera crew. I support that. I don't do nearly as much work as the other guys do. So thank you for putting this together, and I had a blast, an absolute blast playing this.
Amazing.
So do we want to go over a couple more events, because especially in Germany there were some really big ones?
Yeah, definitely. What's the next one? The JK one?
Yeah, that's the traditional end-of-year event that they do in Frankfurt basically every single year. I guess they didn't really do them during COVID. Mm-hmm. But this one was won by Vincent Reuter playing White Initiative Blade. And
you said he just swept through the field, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I haven't even seen him play Legacy or Magic in many years. And he got the deck from Marius Hausmann, who put this together, which is rather standardish White Initiative. But he's playing 4 copies of the card that everybody, or at least that I hate, Stoneforge Mystic. And the targets were Chitte, Batterskull, and Caldra Complete.
Everyone was playing at the beginning and then just went off it.
Yeah,
he
said it was amazing.
Yeah, he's also got some weird things. So he's got the Stoneforges, 1 main deck Loran, and then 2 Touch the Spirit Realm. And then he's gone for Chalice's main deck rather than Swords as well. That's the most interesting things.
You know why that is? I'm pretty sure that these guys, they never play the mirror all that much. From what I was told, I'm not sure if that's actually true. I was told that there were only 2 initiative players in the whole 74.
That makes sense.
Player field.
I could see a non-big legacy event in paper. Chalice is just better. Online, I'm pretty firmly in the Swords main deck camp, but online is a whole nother beast now.
Yeah. So Vincent went through the entire. Actually, it says 6 rounds of Swiss, so it must be less than 64 players. Won 5 of them, drew 1 of them, and then the top 8 he went 2-0, TO, 2-0.
Nice.
Imagine what that must feel like, right? You barely ever play Legacy these days, and then you come to an event, your friend gives you this white Stompy deck, and then just you go all the way.
And you're just Legacy's so easy. What is everyone complaining about?
Just play this stupid deck. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So that was one of the events, and the other one was taking place in Bottrop 64. Oh, that was the one that has 64 players. Bottrop in basically the very west of Germany. I just love the name so much.
Yeah,
Bottrop.
74 players.
Yeah, and apparently they had an insane amount of White Initiative, completely busted.
Do you want to give us a rundown of the top 8?
Yeah, I actually let me open the link, because this one. Okay, we're gonna go with the winner first. The winner is Tobias Garte playing White Initiative. Second place, Mark Brian Kohler, White Initiative. Third place, Oliver Schuren, Painter. Hey, thank you very much.
Nice.
Fourth place, Dirk Langheim, White Initiative. Dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Fifth place, Dennis Aufermann, Naya Depth, something else. Sixth place, Amadeus Kurz, Blue-White Artifact Aggro. Of course, Amadeus always plays some weird artifact shit. I love it, loving it. 7th place, friend of the podcast, Nicolo Covoni playing Cephalid Breakfast. By the way, Nicolo also got top 8 at the JK event that we just talked about. So he got the double top 8 during his visit to Germany.
Mm-hmm. 5th place is also a friend of the podcast. That's Baum.
Oh, Dennis off. Oh! Mm-hmm. Because the name is so familiar. I've seen Dennis at tournament results all the time.
Ever since Dennis is a killer.
Oh, okay, this is amazing. Dude,
Yep.
Dennis, great job there.
Yep.
Man. Cool. And dude, there's so many amazing people here. And yeah, Nicolo, not only good at organizing tournaments, also at crushing, or
Yeah.
almost crushing them, I
He
guess.
topped it both days, right?
Yeah, and he had to travel like from Frankfurt to Bottrop. Like,
Amazing.
Okay. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was doing a legacy tour. That's amazing. And then 8th place, we have Yannick Nellemann, Naya Depth as well. So
Cool. 2 9 depths as well.
yeah, most played deck is 8 initiatives, and we had 3 in the top 4. Cool. Isn't that refreshing?
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you want to play more of that shit?
I try and be the most positive person I can with Legacy. I'm just overplaying online really now.
Yeah, online it's absurd.
Yeah, the deck has overstayed its welcome already for me.
Yeah, you know it's weird once people like start heavily caring about the mirror match.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have said that recently, that basically the 2 top decks by quite a fair margin are Is It Delver and White Initiative, and I think it really reflects in all these
Yeah,
tournament results we see.
Bob put out some numbers. He said, like, from Premier Events Online, it's that the 2 decks combined are like 50% of the winner's metagame.
Yeah, makes sense. And also, that's what we see in Albert Lindblom's data as well. He put together the winners metagame of the last 4 weeks, and he had Blue Red Delver at 20% and White Zombie at 20% as well. So that's 40. So I guess there's some variance because Bob used a different time frame.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
about
next
there.
best deck is Elves at 5%. Oh, yeah. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. I think we won't linger on this too much, but I think you can tell from our tones we're not particularly happy with things as they are. I think in the next few months we're going to see some change.
The next few months. I think it's going to be in February.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I've seen people talk about, oh, it's going to happen this month. I don't think it's going to happen this month. This month it's not that quick, but I'm pretty positive. That also, like, that's why I don't really care all that much about. The exciting thing is, what are they actually going to do? Because I cannot imagine a world where they touch the actual mechanic, because the mechanic was created for multiplayer, and for all I would know, people are happy with that. So why would they touch the actual mechanic, or like even remove rooms? That's a bit crazy to me.
No, I don't think that. I think what they could do is just say if you only get the initiative if you started the game with 2 or more opponents. But
so basically it kills it. That's
kills
akin
it
to banning the cards.
kills it in 1v1, yeah. But I think the other options are just like ban White Plume and ban Iteration and hopefully something else. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They can boot so many cards that are in these 2 decks into the sun. So I don't really mind. It's just something.
Is there anything close? Is there anything at 3 mana against the initiative?
No, I don't. I think that's the only one. There is an artifact, but it costs 2 mana to then activate, and it ETB's tapped. So no, not really.
Oh, okay, that's not exactly the same. Yeah,
no,
so
White Plume is the only 3 mana creature.
And if you only keep like the 4 and 5 mana ones around, because I think there's like some in black and some in green.
Yeah,
that's probably gonna be okay. And I mean, that's probably gonna.
I think it's fine. The deck is literally
much...
just mulligan to turn 1 White Plume the deck. It's
yeah.
It feels
it happens
anyway.
quite often. Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a really cool top 8 from the SCG 10K.
That Anorak streamed, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was watching that. The top 8 was really quite interesting. Like, there was some Delver mirrors, which usually I'm not super hot on, but there was some. The first place finish was Dave Kaplan, OG, like old school legacy player. He played insanely well in, I think it was the quarterfinal. It could have been the win in as well. It was a mirror, and his opponent was playing the like Black Splash for Snuff Out, which I think is really good. But Dave played super tight. Like, you could see he was playing very methodically, thinking about everything, all the little bits, like, keeping the exact right cards in the graveyard after delving. He played so well, and so that was really cool to watch and impressive. For anyone that doesn't know, Dave Kaplan, also one of the members of the team that made Team America, old school like Bug Delver with like Hymns and Sinkhole and Tombstalker and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
That's a long time ago. That's like who else was there? Like David Gerhardt.
Yeah.
And I forgot the third person.
I'm pretty sure of this anyway. Like, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone shout at me. But I think Dave is part of that crew.
Awesome. He's also on the Elo Panthers podcast tonight. So if you want to check out some thoughts from him about him winning the tournament, check those guys out.
Yeah. And then second, we had Jeffrey Carr playing Blue Red Delver as well. Both lists, I think, were pretty similar. Third place, we have a really cool deck, which it's labeled Mono Blue Painter. It's essentially 8 cast with Painter and Grindstone in the deck. And I think cut chalices for those cards. from memory. But it looked really good on stream. He did lose to Delver in, I guess, the semi-finals. But the deck is powerful. Like, you play very fast Kappa Cannoneers as well. And you put all this huge pressure that the 8-cost deck usually does. And you have huge constructs from your sagas and stuff. But then you do threaten this combat combo that doesn't use the combat step, which is a good place to be against like initiative at the moment. So that was really cool.
It's actually kind of interesting because when I think about the Japanese event, they had a mono green painter in the top 8 deck. So
That
at this
one
point you got all the colors covered, right?
Yeah, that mono green deck, I just don't get it. I'm gonna be honest, it's too big brain for me.
Yeah, it was basically like a reclaimer depth deck, but then it also had the painter combo in there randomly, and that was as far as synergies go.
Yeah.
I just love it. Dude.
Yeah.
So...
that was it. I just don't. Yeah, I don't get it, but it makes it all the more impressive that they top 8'd, really.
Maybe they are literally so big brain we cannot comprehend.
I could believe it, man. Japan is so far ahead of everyone. Yeah. Back to the SG. In 4th place, we have Matthew Long, who is labelled as 4-color aggro, but this is Delver with the black splash. So this is the player that I said was playing against Dave. So it was a semi-finals match. I was very impressed. Both of them played really well, but Dave just looked great. So Matthew, really cool list, I think. I think this is very, very on the ball for like the current metagame. He has 3 Baleful Strix in the main deck and 3 Stuff Out in the main deck. This is clearly targeting the mirror and initiative. Like, this is with those in mind. And then the sideboard, 3 Dread of Night as well. Pretty interesting.
It's almost as good as Gloom.
Yeah, just not as good as Gloom. I wonder if Delver could play Gloom. I don't know, yeah. So that was cool. And then we have Colin Lugo on Mono Blue 8-cast, Michael Levine on Mono Black Combo, which I'm just going to pull it up.
That's Helm. That's basically Helm combo.
Mono Black Helm, nice. We have G. Berlinrut, I'm not sure of their actual name, Randomator, and then a friend of ours, David Riley, on Cephala Breakfast, which Breakfast again put up a sweet result. Shout outs to Devon. I met him when I went over to America last year, hung out with him in New York. That was cool. So yeah, Breakfast still continuing to do well, right? So we've got Devon in the top 8 here. We had Nicolo top 8ing both days in bot drop.
Dude, I watched Kai this morning before I went to Stuttgart for the trade fair. I watched Kai and he almost got the 5-0.
Oh.
He almost got the 5-0 with a Cephala Breakfast. You know where he messed up? I saw the line on my phone, but I couldn't type quickly enough on my phone. He could have played a random surgical because he had all he needed was to go to 2 mana. And he had Nomad Sakura in play and he had Cephala Delusionist in hand. And all he needed was 1 more mana. And everybody knows the trick, right? But usually everybody does the trick with Lotus Petal.
Is it surgical in a daze?
Yeah, exactly. He had surgical. He could have dazed his own surgical, replayed the land, get the Cephala Delusionist down at 1. And I was trying to type it on my phone, but I couldn't, and he already passed the turn.
Kai!
And then the next turn he could still have done it, but like things have changed and didn't really make all that much sense anymore at that point. So he went 4-1, but it's actually absurd how many opening hands he had, where he opens the hand, and he's like, okay, this is turn 2 kill, and everything else is just protection now at this point.
Dude, Tagores streamed a league this morning, and he posted a screenshot on Twitter of him like having a turn 2 kill with like force and double days backup. The deck is very powerful.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Dude, what a deck. Yeah, dude, I would love to. I think Kai is actually building the deck in paper, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so as well. That's his.
I mean, the types on you already have like the Underground Seas.
Yeah, I guess so. He's got to buy the Shukos now, though. They're the big money.
Yeah, we were talking about them in stream. Why Shuko and Uncommon? And then Severin, the eternally surprised, pointed out that up until Mirrodin, they had never printed an artifact at common. I never realized this, but that means
I would never have known that.
For example, you have never seen the Urza Saga symbol on the plain Urza Saga symbol in black on an artifact. And now that I think about it, I don't remember any. Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah, I would never have guessed that. Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of silly equipments, like I've just started playing Lightning Greaves and Painter, which is sick, by the way.
Oh, that deck. Oh yeah, tell us about it. We were talking about this at the beginning.
They're so expensive,
this is
though.
what everybody has been waiting. What?
Oh, so they're
like printed into the ground or something?
Yes, they have, and it's still like a staple in every single bloody EDH deck. So I think they're not too bad on Magic Card Market, but you have to buy them from like separate sellers and stuff like that because they all have like one random one lying around. And they're
so what are they, like €10 or something?
Yeah, something like that. So they're like £8 in the UK, which
Okay, I would have guessed they're like 20 cents or something.
yeah, exactly. That's what I thought as well. I thought they'd be reprinted in the ground. They have like 20 reprints, but anyway, I haven't set on a list yet. I'm just going to pull up what I posted on Twitter just like yesterday. So as I said earlier, this shell is kind of like, you do play Painter and Grindstone. I think it's still right to play them because the deck has so many tutors like Saga and Engineer basically. But the package that I'm loving is Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Unearth. And Unearth just also helps the whole Goblin plan. Like you can Engineer for a Painter and then just bring it back straight away for 1 mana. And it also just brings back your Goblins when they get bolted and stuff. Like obviously it's a little bit awkward if they swords or prismatic ending them, but you generally like the kind of swords and ending matchups, right? And the bolt ones are harder because it's usually Delver. So this is really cool. Unearth, obviously, you bring back a Dragon Engine and you get to discard your hand and then draw 3. So the role players around this is the Scrapwork Mutt that we mentioned earlier, the 2-mana 2/1 that like ETB loots a card. I started with like 3 or 4 in the deck, and it was kind of a cool role player. And I was like, oh, but this card is like kind of crap, right? So I cut it, and then I actually just missed having some more loot effects, so I've added them back in. I think it's actually not too bad in the deck. But yeah, Lightning Greaves is, I think it was suggested by Inkwelder in the Discord, the Painter Discord a few days ago, or maybe like last week, and it immediately like piqued my interest. Like, you know what, that's actually potentially amazing. I've always wanted to find some reliable way to have the goblins have haste, and like there's anger, you need to get it in the graveyard first and stuff, and you don't always draw a basic mountain. And like I looked at Mass Hysteria, which is like all creatures have haste, but giving your opponent's creatures haste
at that point.
Yeah, so that was a bit silly. But then so Lightning Greaves, it's kind of awkward that it walks into all of our usual sideboard cards against us. So like, you know, Collector Roof, Force of Vigor, blah blah. So, you know, it's still in testing, but like you can do some really cool things. Like I played against Anurag yesterday when he was streaming, and he got to like Hydro Blast my engineer that I played, and that like tapped him out on turn 3. So then I followed up with like Lotus Petal, unearth my engineer, equip the Lightning Greaves to it, bring in the Dragon Engine, then equip them to the Dragon Engine, hit you for 4, and then the following turn I just put even more pressure on him. And Lightning Greaves obviously gives the Kiki from Fable haste as well, which you can do some really crazy things. It also just protects your goblins. So like protecting a Goblin Welder is super powerful in the right matchups. So I'm going to try a Portal to Phyrexia, the card which I made fun of when it came out. When it came out, I got a bunch of people saying, "Callum, what do you think of this big artifact you can never cast in Painter?" And I've always
been life now.
I've always been super against a big dumb thing because I've thought you just don't need that because you know you can win with Painter regardless. But now I'm thinking like with Unearth to bring back the goblins and the Greaves to kind of protect them from removal, I think having a big thing to weld in is a little bit more reliable, and with the added velocity of the deck as well from Dragon Engine, so you're going to just see welders a bit more because you've got the Scrapwork Mutts and the Dragon Engines just drawing more cards than normal Painter usually does, and you have 4 Fables as usual as well. So I'm going to try a big Portal to Phyrexia. The list I posted is I'm going to run through very quickly. For lands, you've got 21 lands, including 4 Ancient Tomb, 2 Cities, 4 Sagas, and then 2 Badlands with some fetches. I might just try
exactly right. No, 2 fetches. 3 fetch lands.
It's 3 fetch lands at the moment. And then there's like 2 mountains and 4 Great Furnace. So usually on less Great Furnaces, but I want to like maximize the goblins in this. So starting from
basically, you're maximizing your vulnerability to all the stuff that hurts us.
Yeah, this is
artifact removal, Nylrod effects, graveyard effects, what have you.
This is how I build decks actually. So this is a little insight into how I build things. Is I work from a powerful point that's like weak to sideboard cards, and then I work backwards, tailoring things down until I find that it's at the right spot where it's powerful enough but still not weak enough to combo. So I'm starting with these numbers, and then I'll probably cut some Great Furnaces.
Okay.
I think the deck is also quite weak to Graveyard Hate now, so I'll probably end up cutting back on a couple of Unearths kind of thing. There's also 3 Lightning Greaves. You probably should just play 2 because you're going to walk into the Youths and the Null Rods or whatever's. But yeah, I like starting with the more powerful thing to see if the powerful thing, quote unquote powerful thing, is just like unearthing Dragon Engines. But see if it works. Mm-hmm. But then, the deck just has tons of velocity. So you do see things, and you see all these like the Engineers and the Sagas, and you find your Grindstone.
Yeah.
So the list I posted are 3 Grindstone and 4 Painter. I think you could just go back down to 2 grindstones like usual, and I think you can play 3 painters as well, because there's no blasts in this deck. There's also no furies, no blasts, no bolts.
Yeah. That's the thing that scares me, because you talked about how Phyrexian Dragon Engine can produce like some insane card advantage.
Yeah.
And
but you're not really using it.
Exactly, right? If you're not using it to interact with your opponent, it doesn't really matter. And at that point, you're either gonna like overwhelm them with combo attempts, or you're gonna do something like Portal. That's why I'm not sure if Portal is gonna be the be-all end-all. I guess you also don't know yet.
No.
But that's why I like something like a top end isn't there, right? You're building towards something. Because if your only card advantage is for the sake of making more card advantage and getting more Scrapwork Mutt in play, that's not what you're doing. That's like how you do it. But
don't mess with it. I played against lands in the last round at LLM on Saturday, and I went turn 1 Ancient Tomb Scrap Mutt, and he wastelanded me, and I played a land, he wastelanded me. I played another land, and he wastelanded me. But the Scrap Mutt did like 10 or 12 damage, and I got to attack him with engineers for the last bits. So
that's still not very exciting to me, honestly.
The most exciting game. But you're right. So the deck, I think the deck is concentrating on comboing. Basically, it's a better combo deck than what we usually play. Much better, because you have the Greaves. The Greaves is like an extra painter as well when it's already in play, but they can't kill it with creature removal, because if you have the Grindstone in play, then you play the painter, and then you equip the Greaves to the painter, they have to respond with removal there, then you get to activate the Grindstone response. So it's like a painter that's already in play, which they can't swords or bolt, whatever, which is pretty nice. The rest of it is like, so 4 pedals, because you are splashing black, they help with it, so no spirit guides. 1 Mox Opal is the usual with the sagas, 4 Unearth, 4 Welder, of course, 3 Grindstones, a Nihil Spellbomb, 4 Engineers, 4 Painters, 3 Scrapwork Mutt, 3 Lightning Greaves, 4 Fables, and there's 3 Dragon Engines. I often want 4, but like 3 is kind of enough. And then a Portal to Phyrexia.
Help us out again. What exactly does Portal to Phyrexia do?
Oh yeah, so it's a 9
when we talk about like a 9 mana card that he's played,
it's a 9 mana artifact, and so you're realistically just bringing it in with Goblin Welder, so you can engineer 4 into the graveyard and weld it in. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures, and at the beginning of your upkeep, I believe it is, you get to put a creature from any graveyard into play, and it's like a Phyrexian addition to its creature types or something. So the idea is it's pretty insane against both Delver and Initiative, right? Against Initiative, just making them sack some creatures, then you start getting the Initiative creatures into play.
I guess it's basically a win condition against almost anything that's creature based. Yeah,
pretty much. That they can't like Solitude or whatever way. They can touch the Spirit Realm, which kind of sucks, but you've already got you've made them sacrifice all their creatures and stuff. So,
okay. So the biggest challenge right now is finding a name for it, right?
Yeah. I call it
Painterless Painter is so boring, dude.
No, it's not. It's not called that.
It's not even Painterless Painter.
I'm looking at. I think it's Black Forest Cake. Black Forest.
Oh, Black Forest Cake. Okay, so in your thing, it's called Robodog.
Yeah, Black Forest Ghetto.
Black Forest Ghetto. Okay.
Yeah. Not Ghetto. Yeah. Or it can be Black Forest Cake, but yeah.
Right. Okay.
So this is also playing online. So Defiler would be in the paper version. So I had 3 that I played on Saturday. I think 3 is too many. 2 is fine. I just love the card and I want to play loads of it. So yeah, obviously Defiler is insane in this deck as well. So you'll jam a couple in paper.
You know what you should do? You should stream a couple of matches. I would definitely tune in.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I'm doing a private stream for the Discord tomorrow.
What?
For the Painter Discord.
What?
Yeah. The Painter Discord is just so good. Like most days, or like not most days, sometimes there's someone streaming. We've got a stream channel and just everyone hangs out and chats together and stuff. So Robert R, aka Lightwalker, he was streaming yesterday with Jack Kitchen. And then I think tomorrow me and him are going to stream some stuff.
Oh, no interest in doing it publicly on Twitch?
Anyone's welcome. Anyone is welcome to join the Painter Discord.
Is that a new thing? A lot of people have been doing that recently. I never really got like the idea of it, but I mean, sure.
It's nice because you're actually real time chatting via mic with other people that are like playing the deck with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess you can do that.
It is a newer thing, but we'll see. I'll probably stream it later on, another time.
I mean, once this episode comes out, it's already going to be over anyway, and then maybe we're going to see it on Twitch sometime.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's just what I'm really enjoying. So I don't know if it's actually better than normal Painter. I don't think so. But
you know what you should do? You should submit it as a donation deck list to Kai.
Ooh, I'm just going to tell him to play it. Oi, Kai. Yeah. I'll stream it at some point, or I'll play it more. Like I've played 2 leagues with like very bad versions, and both went at 4-1. It's doing some powerful stuff. You feel like it's going off. It's much more of a combo deck than usual. As you said, you don't have the removal. I did like almost. I didn't lose it. I almost lost a game to game 1 Collector Roof, but then you make constructs and go boom boom. But,
Okay.
yeah, the lack of removal is a thing. Like you could die because Defiler is meant to be the removal, but then I haven't really accosted for that for Magic Online. It's really annoying that Defiler is online, basically.
Do we actually know when those cards are going to come out? Because I heard it's weird because they can't single release them. They have to release them as the proper decks.
Yeah,
so there are like
they've
legal
said
restrictions.
Yeah, so they're coming the first year of 2023. The first half of 2023. So that's very open. So we don't know more than that. But they've said they are coming in the first half of the year. And yeah, the reason for the delay is they have to, because of their like the laws with Games Workshop, they have to do the whole decks or nothing. So having to put the whole decks online.
Yeah.
So
I honestly thought it was going to come this month. I don't know why I thought that, but now you're telling me it's the first half of the year. It could be forever.
It could be. But I feel like it's more going to be like April, May, June.
Oh god, that's still way too long.
I know.
Like honestly,
I
I really thought it was going to come out like in a week or so.
God no. I mean,
this hurts so much, dude.
It could be, but we have no indication at all. So I'm just being a patient little chaos defiler.
What a minor misstep by them. By the way, speaking of minor misstep, what do you think about the card?
I was about to ask you the same question. All right.
So for those who don't know, that's a card that was spoiled today. It's gonna come out on some future set. Nobody knows. Like there's way too many of those. It's 1 blue instant, counter target spell with converted mana cost 1 or 0. So it's basically mental misstep, but it costs mana, but it can also hit stuff for 0.
To be technically correct, 1 or less. So it can be something without mana cost, like a cascade spell as well.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah, that's actually relevant. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. What do you think?
Well, honestly, I don't get the hype. I've only seen very few people actually hype it up. The thing to me, and I think it was Travis Yu who summed it up. He said, I've never seen somebody, he was talking about Anorak, right, who thought it was absurdly broken or something.
Absurdly
dangerous, right? Okay, that's a way to cover all your bases, right? He said, I've never seen somebody this excited about trading 1-for-1 and potentially down on mana.
Dude, I said that.
Was that you?
Yes.
Dude,
Jarvis replied to it.
Okay, Jarvis replied to it. Okay, anyway, so you said that, and I thought that was really smart.
Ah, thank you. Just lucky, but yeah, no, well, fine. That sums up what I think as well. I think it's pretty bad.
I would guess, right?
Yeah.
Since you said it. No, but seriously, that's really how I think about the card as well.
My actual feeling is a bit more reserved. I think it's not very good, but it has potential to be like a one-off here and there, and it could be played a little bit. But you don't come and listen to podcasts for like reserved takes. I'm going to say I think it's a crap card, and it's not going to be played anywhere, and it's terrible. There we go.
Loving it. Do you know what XJ posted earlier today?
It was so good. Yes.
He made a tweet, like he posted Gitaxian Probe and then Peak next to it. And then he posted Mental Misstep and this next to it.
Yeah.
And that basically perfectly sums it up, right?
Yeah. He's like, I don't know why I'm posting all the pictures of these cards, but they seem related. I'm not sure.
Honestly, if I had to guess, it's basically Stifle. And I like Stifle a lot better.
Yeah, because Stifle interacts with like onboard stuff as well.
Yeah, and Stifle is also like it trades up on mana so many times. Like if you stifle a relevant ability on like a 3-drop, which is very common in Legacy, you trade it up on mana. And
it's also a completely unique effect, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not this can be forced or like there's other counter magic. I just don't see this at all. As you know what, I'm retracting my like reserved take. I think people will try it for a bit and then it's just like. It's another tool. I think it's going to be pretty good in Modern. But other than that, like it's a thing that if a right metagame comes where there's like one drops the deck and Chalice gets banned, then maybe. And then it does have this parasitic ability where like if everyone's playing this card, then you have to play it to fight it in a weird sense. But you could also just play like, I don't know. Just play Chalice.
Yeah. So basically you're saying like if we don't do this whole Ancient Tomb thing anymore and everybody's trying to slam like 3 and 4 drops, then maybe that's about like I can see a Legacy.
Maybe it's okay against Zoo. Maybe it's okay against Zoo.
Oh, is it?
Maybe. It's still like a reactive thing. prefer to just have a bolt or something. I don't know.
You know, you saying it's okay against Sue, that feels like when you're flying like from Germany to France and they tell you about like the life vests under your seats. Like,
yeah, sure. And you're just thinking like, if we crash, maybe I need this minor misstep, but
yeah,
we're not going to
crash.
crash.
What if we crash into a lake? Then I will need my life vest. Anyway.
Yeah.
So if everything fails, at least this is going to be a good sound clip for Everyday Channel number 200.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that this card is actually going to make any kind of waves.
No, there's a cool deck which like Francis and Marcus had memeing about, which is like you play all the conditional counter spells. So you play like this and Spell Snare, and then obviously the Snapcasters. And so if everything lines up, which is like the control player's dream, it feels like the deck is unbeatable. But you know,
and you play stuff like Disrupt.
I guess so, but I think the most thing is just this plus Spell Snare, and they need to make a 1-mana counter target like CMC 3 spell as well.
That's super fucking specific.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be all terrible, but yeah.
Oh, dude. I guess the 1-mana counter CMC 3 is called Force Spike. Kinda, I would think. Anyway, good. Callum, do we call it a day from here?
I think so.
You want to get out?
You've written one more note at the bottom of the...
Yeah, it says get fucked Undercity.
There we go. Just get it out.
Okay, let's move beyond that. So if you want to support the running of Everyday Channel, please consider leaving a review of Apple Podcasts. It's been a while since we got our last one. But if you want to enjoy and you want to share your enjoyment of the show and share it with a lot of people and get more people to listen to this, you can do so by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. 5-star, please. And you can, of course, also join our Discord, become a Patreon on patreon.com/everydaychannel. Or you can just, hang out on social media, post a bunch of memes, join in on the shit posting on @EternalMTG. You can find me on It's Julian 23. You can find Kai on Savatarix. And Callum, you can be found on Callum Smith MTG, right?
Yep, and the Warhammer channel in our Discord.
Oh, the Warhammer channel has exploded. The Warhammer channel has absolutely... My friend just sent me the pictures. He got the Imperial... What are they called? The very basic troops. Imperial
Guard. Yeah.
Imperial Guard, yeah.
You got the box?
He got the thing that has like 8 of those guys in it and like
nice.
a tank or something. I don't know.
Excellent.
But he already went to the Games Workshop in town and they helped him out a lot. Dude, he's so excited for it. He's making me so excited. I want to get the orcs.
I've sent you so many things to get.
You told me I should get the Combat Patrol, right?
Yeah, it's great.
That's the thing. Oh, dude.
you save like whatever it costs. Like you're getting all the stuff at like half price, and you get a ton of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, listeners, if you want to come and talk Warhammer, come into the Discord.
Very, very active Warhammer channel with a lot of people getting into Warhammer right now. So
Hell yes.
So thank you to all the mad people, crazy people all over the world making this possible. Not only our Discord Patreons, but especially our Patreons on Eternal Witness tier level. Savataro Orico, Tommy Hinks, Testacula, Sebastian Holaga, Guillem, Hannah Wolf, Sean Dewey, Francis Cooper, Cassandra Davis, Benedict Gruber, and Severin Schwarzhuber. By the way, last two both made top 8 in the Et Cetera Invitational as well.
Nice.
And Grizzlebrand tier, Victor Benatz, Bachibat, Scott Monroe, Jeremy Gates, Henry Cockhood, Tom Hepp, Andrew Whitman, Kane, Ian Seefeld, Fritz Sternert, and Paragon Games in St. Louis. Wishing you all an amazing time. Wish me the best of luck for 9 or 10 days of trade fairs ahead of me. Gonna be selling so much Kenya all over the place. Promising.
Sounds tough.
So yeah, if you wanna get some Kenya, got your fair share of Kenya, hit me up at Interdive at Stuttgart or Boat at Düsseldorf next week. I'm gonna be there. So everybody have a great time. See you and tune in again next week.
See you everyone.